Hello there. Welcome to the KMS wrap-up show for August 4th, 2022. Today's show was 2.5 hours talking about how Tim and Canton only lasted 2.5 hours in the staying in Justin's car extravaganza before quitting. Just straight up saying, can't do it anymore. He had a cramp. He had spasms in his leg. Couldn't deal with it. I understand. And it's something that just happens. But some people's bigger takeaway is how after he quit, he really wanted me to drive him back to his car. I'm joined by Andrew Augustus. Andrew, how you doing, my friend?
It was a spectacular performance by you guys last night, and I've never been more disappointed in Tim before than watching him leave the car after only 2.5 hours.
Yeah, we will just start off there. So last night we had the staying in my dirty fucking shit box of a car. It was Tim Ridgeld's McFuss who's a big star now, and the odds-on favorite who's been talking, who's ever since this was announced, he's been making videos. He was in Twitter Spaces. He was just so excited. The odds-on favorite. People were betting their mortgage. It's Tim and Canton. He's going to last. He's going to last. Did not last 2.5 hours. I would have thought you would have had to carry him out in a body bag before he would leave like that. And I don't know if you weren't able to watch it live. I have posted it on YouTube, the full him quitting and then him trying to persuade me to get him to go to Shoppers Cafe where his car is. It's something. It's something. What was your reaction to it, Andrew?
Knowing the build up and talking to Tim a little before, I was feeling really good for him, and you could hear it even on like every call when he called in leading up to. There was the excitement, there was the ready. So I'm like, all right, he knows what he's getting himself into.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I'm watching you guys in the beginning, and then I'm doing some errands around, and all of a sudden it's 10:30. I'm in bed. And I'm watching a video of Tim flipping out at you saying, drive me home. It was such a turnaround.
It was, you can really see my face. I was shocked. At first I thought he was joking. At first I was like, holy shit, he's doing it. Then he's just out there. And then he's just kind of like, he's hanging out on the side of the car. And then he steps out and I was like, Jesus, you're out. And, I thought the rules from the start were that if you're out, you're not getting a ride. You can walk back, you can take an Uber back, but it's like, I can't drive you to your car. So when first thing he said was, he's like, oh no, I got to get back in the car because Justin's going to drive me to my fucking car. I was like, ooh, we got ourselves a pissy Tim and Canton here. And it was like, I just kept on saying like, Tim, you hear it in the video, Tim, I can't, Tim, and like, he is one of the few people where if it was someone let's say McFuss did that, I would have been like, okay, like you can literally suck my dick. I'm not taking this shit. But at first I thought maybe it was a shtick from Tim. And then I was like, okay, I'm going to give him the benefit. He gets the benefit of the doubt from me. Kirk even said during the live stream in the chat, he said, Tim's the best, but rules are rules. I mean, if we start breaking, it goes against everything that the Minifans stand for. If we started making special rules for Tim and Canton like that, Jesus, it's not a good look.
It great on you to hold your ground from, and I think it.
I had people in the chat. I didn't see it at the time, but I had people in the chat like Adam in Jersey saying, "Oh, just drive him home. Just drive him home." It's like, no,
I'm not gonna, the rules were clear. You set the rules. You set it clear, and it's one of those situations that I think you could see the disbelief in your face, and I think that face was out of all the hundreds of people watching it last night, of just in sheer shock and watching him basically have a Karen-esque meltdown of it. He was ready to go. Like, I'm surprised he didn't pull out the "let me talk to your manager" move, because that would have been a class. Like Tim and Canton just get cullinated on the floor.
When he started simping is when I was like, Tim, I'm going to get fired if I did this, which I do think would be an exaggeration of some points. And he goes, no, you won't. And it's just like, Tim, like, well, I don't know what you're talking about. Like, you don't. Like, I've spoken for Kirk before, and it's gotten me in trouble. Like, we don't speak for Kirk on certain things. And to say like, oh, nope, no, you won't. Like, he's like, you're driving me home. And somebody's like, "Don't raise your voice at me." I'm just like, Tim, like I'm not trying to fight you right now. I'm laughing, and it was good to hear Kirk's reaction. That was kind of his biggest takeaway. Like I said, Kirk called me. Like Kirk said, he called me after that happened and was like, "Order him an Uber, or make sure he's fine, but just you can't drive him home." And I was just like, "Of course not." And then it ended up. First of all, can I just say I am so fucking tired still. I got home.
When you told me 11 o'clock tonight, I was
I
shocked.
got home at like 2 p.m. I took a nap for like 3 hours, and then I woke up and I was like, "Fuck!" I realized I haven't cut any clips for the show. I haven't done anything. I should probably do that because that's kind of my job. And so I cut that one clip for the Twitter promo, and I then got together the Tim Can stuff for people to see on YouTube. But yeah, I'm still beat. Like I know everyone jokes, "Oh, Justin sleeps for 75 hours every day." Blah 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 blah. Like I think I could sleep for 18 hours again. This is VFW level tired for me. Where I don't know.
It was a long night, a very long night.
And I will say, car and he pissed in the Gatorade bottle. I haven't been able to. When I heard that, I was like, "Oh, please make my car not be covered in fucking piss back there." Like I just don't want it to smell. Like I do have people in my car, like sometimes, and I can be like, "Oh yeah, it smells like piss," because the job I work for, I had people pee pee in the back seat, and it's funny. And it's like I did find his Gatorade. That was the first thing I did when I left the studio. I was just like, I just gotta find this bottle of piss. I have no problem with people pissing in piss bottles. I've pissed in piss bottles before. I actually went to I have no problem dealing with pee pee poo poo stuff. I went to nursing school for a year. I thought I was going to have to be, wiping people's asses and sticking catheters in people's pee holes for a living. So yeah, I have nothing wrong dealing with piss and poop.
How have you gone from a nursing student to intern Justin to J-Rock?
Yeah, I don't think I just don't think nursing was for me. Like I said, I did it for a year, and I was like, this is not who I am compared to the other people. But anyway, yeah. So like I saw that it was just a Gatorade bottle like filled with piss, and I was like, oh, okay. So I just threw it in the dumpster. I will say my car is trash free right now. I still have to vacuum it, sprayed it down with Lysol. It does still smell just kind of like just sweaty man. I believe McFuss Daddy today made a good point where Kirk's asked, like, did it smell? And he's like, it didn't really smell until like 2 or 3 hours in after we did the first like heat challenge, and we just started just sweating our asses off for like a good like 30 minutes, and it was just became like, okay, no amount of deodorant is just like your armpits don't smell, but you got swamp ass going on, you got your dick's fucking smelly as shit, and it was just gross. But
I'm surprised that Tim would even have the challenge, like the difficulties with the smell, because he's always been around the hockey rink. Like that's no spring chicken smell. So I'm sure.
Yeah, no, I really don't think he had problems with the smell. I truly think he just had a really bad leg cramp and he was unable to do it. And he's like, fuck this. I can't. I mean, Andrew, like I was back there and I understand Tim is like a third of the size of me, but like I was back there for the final like 45 minutes. I can definitely see like your leg just starting to spaz and cramp up, and you're just like, I can't fucking do this anymore. Like I'm going to lose my leg. But it was but hey, it led to great content. He's taking it in stride. I personally have no problem. I saw someone post today like oh, Tim pulling the Chris Clemmer move, talking down to Justin, and I don't think that's. I think this was a moment of weakness for Tim. I've talked to him. He agrees it was a moment of weakness for him. He definitely. I mean, he's in a bad spot. He just sweat his dick off playing high stakes, high ho chariot.
You pushed a man to his breaking point.
Yeah,
we watched you legitimately put the grown man to his breaking point here.
Sure, yeah, it was just the fact that there were 3 people back there. I was upset that it went from 3 to 2 so quickly, because I was like, fuck, now we have to go from pretty much midnight to 7 with only 2 people back there, and it would have been fine. But hey, we picked up my guy Dana, who seems to be, from what I can see, kind of regretting his decision to join us last night, from what people have shown me on Snapchat and things of that nature. But Dana was great. I saw a couple people, and Kirk today during the show was like, yeah, I wouldn't want him in studio, and that was never the plan. What I would have done was, if he stayed till 7:30, I would have dropped him back off in Waltham and then gotten his information to see if Kirk would have wanted him in studio. I'm not that stupid to be like, Kirk, this guy's in studio now, because you knows nothing about it. But people were giving me a lot of shit when I decided to go pick him up. At first, they were saying, no, don't do this, don't do this. I think it was the right move. Whether you loved him or hated him, he definitely brought something to the stream that was lacking. And I just think just having that third person was great.
In what other show can people be yelling at you and applauding you for picking up a stranger? And then just, I mean, the song, what was he always saying in the back of the car? Oh, what was his stupid phrase?
I just want to put my hands on your body, or something like that. I just want to put my hands. Yeah, I forget how it was, but it was bumping. I just want to put my hands all on your body, something like that. But it was great. I'd love to reach out to him just to say thanks, and don't worry about all the shit people were saying. He seemed very intent on like, oh, reading the comments and blah 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 and things like that. But
rule number one, turn off the comments.
The Minifans are great people, and for them to support. But yeah, I was actually worried going into today's show. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna get ripped apart. I saw a lot of people saying this was the worst content ever. The video quality was absolute ass. That's not something I can deal with. People are saying, oh, Justin needs to prepare better. I'm live on Periscope in my car. I could have had multiple cameras set up to record and did a whole process. It would have taken me 2 or 3 days to get the whole thing together, to render it and to put it out. That's not how we do things. I could have stayed in a single area connected to Wi-Fi. I don't think that would have been the same. But I do think that I did the best with what I could do, with just the single phone. And it was just kind of like, it just reminds me of like old school Barstool shit. I mean, just look at like how long it's taking the mini golf to be put out. And then just this single camera periscoping. It looks like absolute dog shit. People who loved it. People who hated it. It was divisive. People talked about it. Kirk loved it. I think Kirk said this is what he imagined, the KMS world being, is just people just staying in a shitty car that's full of trash, and the twists and turns that no one can predict. No one would have predicted that Timmy Canton would last 2.5 hours. I would have thought, like, oh my God, if Timmy Canton's leaving after 2.5 hours, like something happened to his child, or maybe he had a heart attack or something like that. But it was, but no, I think Timmy Canton will recover from this. I think he's taking it in stride. He's when he called me last night to apologize, I was like, it's not that I was even like fired up. I was just like, damn, like I hope he's okay, because it just seems so off for him. But no, Tim's a good guy. But next time we go out, if we ever go out to get pizza's on him. So, but
it's got to be for that.
But it was quite the experience. Kirk, I don't know, whatever Kirk comes up with next, I'll be the bitch boy to kind of run it and get it down. I will say the hardest part of the night was 100% when I did the heat challenge, and I just rolled up the windows, cranked the heat. Andrew, I sweat my dick off more than I fucking ever have in mind. And I'm not like a sauna guy. It was just rough. The whole night
was it then worse than the concert?
Oh yeah, I sweat more in the concert for sure. But there was a whole bunch of things that I forgot. Like at one point, McFustetti asked for some hand sanitizer, and I bought some lube, and I sprayed the lube
I heard
on him.
that was
there was a couple other funny times that happened. But overall, I'm just happy to get it done. Mostly just because I can clean out my car now without having to look like I'm an actual homeless person, driving around. A couple other things. I do feel really bad about I'm normally a stop and help and see what's going on kind of person when I see shit go down. But when I saw that car crash, I don't know why I just drove by. It was really on my mind for like a good hour or two. But I'm over it. No one died, so I'm over it. But because I always think in that situation, like, what happens if that was me, or what happens if that was my mom, or what happens if that was, someone I love, and something could have been prevented. But thankfully nothing happened. So I got over that really quick. But that was tough. A couple other things from today's show. I mean, the main takeaway, Kirk said, like, the only thing that he really cares about is was the car challenge. I mean, Kirk goes back on with Jerry. That was fine. I listened to it. Jerry makes I don't know if you heard this joke before, but Jerry always asks Kirk if he's on his medication because Jerry thinks Kirk is less of a man because he has mental health issues. I thought that joke was hilarious. I was dying laughing. I was like, this is funny. That's right. Kirk is mentally ill. Jerry, fucking roast his ass. Then Jerry keeps bringing up, like, Kirk holding a grudge, which definitely doesn't seem like Jerry's holding a grudge. That Kirk is holding a grudge. I thought that was great. Yeah, but I mean, it was fine. It was a Kirk and Callahan show. I wasn't a fan of KNC. It's just such a different dynamic than KMS. I do think Kirk's great when he goes on his Brady rants and things like that. But peak Kirk to me is the Kirk Minahan show, and I know there are some fans out there who prefer KNC over KMS, which is perfectly fine, but that's just not me. So when I get shows, like, I'll listen to anything Kirk does, but when he's on with Jerry, it's just I think my annoyance with Jerry overpowers my love for Kirk when Kirk's on with him. It just rubs my ass the wrong way when I hear things, just like, oh, you want any medication, Kirky? And I understand they're joking, and but it's just silly.
It was good to see it, though. I was so confused yesterday just because on my feed I saw it pop up. That was like, oh, old school Kirk and Callahan, and I'm like, what the heck is this? And all of a sudden I go on the Jerry Callahan podcast, and I was like, oh, all right. No, it's good. It is a good reminder of back when it was Kirk and Callahan, but the show right now, in my opinion, is just so much better.
Yeah,
so much better. Like, it's like, again, two guys were in a car for over 12 hours. 3 guys were in a car for over 12 hours, and that included a random stranger and a potential prostitute trying to pick up too. So 2 for 2, Justin. I'm surprised no one suggested to take you down to Providence, because you probably would have better luck.
Well, I was almost in Providence. People went all the way to Attleboro. But I do think the whoever called in might have been, I forget who it was. Was it Rico Bosco? Let's just throw a name out there. Rico Bosco, maybe. Oh no, I'm sorry. It was Dave Cullinane's music teacher calling in with the he can handle it. He can handle it. Very funny. Rico is very funny. I know it has nothing to do with that because it was Cullinane's teacher, but good on Rico. He's very funny whenever he interacts with the world and things of that nature. Let's see.
Do you think Rico would ever come in for a third chair on a Friday, or like if he's
up of course. If he's up in the, that's not even a question. Do I think Rico would come in? Of course he would.
I would love to see like an extended Kirk and Rico.
Oh,
I don't know what would happen, but I think it would just something interesting would.
Very, very. Of course, Rico would come in. I mean, that's not even Rico's a big Minifan, and a lot of Minifans are riders. I think that'd be great. I just think it's difficult because of where Rico lives, and he's not a traveling sort of guy. He doesn't really move around the area. He kind of stays in New York City as is, and Staten Island is kind of like his hub. But yeah, no, of course he'd come in the studio. I'll even speak for Rico. He'd love to. He loves the Minifans and everything like that. But the Vin Scully stuff today was great. I mean, it was just, I never heard him sing it. It's very weird to not even sing it live, just to have a recording of it. And it's funny when I uploaded the podcast to Barstool, it shows you copyrighted content, and it says "Wind Beneath My Wings" by Vin Scully. So he must be like a legitimate thing, like an actual song that like he went through and did it. I don't know.
Good for him. I mean, yeah, he was a great announcer, but like Kirk said, over the top now, people. It's like 94 is a hell of a life. It's one hell of a life. You got to see a lot of good shit. But it's when Kirk goes into those like kind of like hearing his laugh the first time when the chorus comes always is just that infectious kind of. I started laughing in the car. Luckily, I'm starting to plan my times listening, so I'm not looking like a crazy person in my office.
Mm-hmm.
Luckily,
Yeah,
I'm.
But yeah, no, it was very funny. Overall, great show today. I don't think I fucked up anything production wise. I think the show sounded okay. I was worried about that, especially like just the short time frame I had between the end of the competition and getting ready for the show. But also, I mean, great instincts by Kirk to have Mike come in because Mike watched the majority of, I'd say, the live stream more than he would care to admit.
I think there's a lot of us Minute fans. Like when I woke up in the middle of the night to run to the bathroom, like I had to check in on you idiots.
There was a point during the live stream in which I just had them read the description of the Clifford the Big Red Dog movie I wanted them to do it for the length of the movie. So I think we did it for like 80 minutes, and then at some point McFuss Daddy was like, "Does your CD player like play DVDs?" And I was like, "No." And then I put it in there, and it did. So then we watched it, and we just commented on it, and I made sure Tim didn't fall asleep or anything like that. But I saw Tim did tweet out Tim Ridgels did tweet out a video clip of me I dozed off for a good like 2 minutes there, and it was just it's tough to be going like from such high energy, fucking Dana shots or whatever he was doing, just high energy. He's singing, you're dancing, you're driving. The Tim Ridgel, the Tim and Canton stuff happens. I was up all day, getting ready and going to Walmart, getting things prepared. And then like sometimes you're just like, oh, it's just this is a nice good time to like doze off. But then like you get a sudden burst of energy and you keep going. But it was certainly something. But I'm glad Kirk. It was everything Kirk wanted. That was ideal. Yeah. Anything else to say on today's show, Andrew?
No, it was a great listen. It was a fun recap of like mainly with the car. The car was the star of the day, and it had to be. It was 12 hours, and bravo, Justin. Now I hope you get some well-deserved rest after this one.
I'm so tired. I've gotten like 3 hours of sleep, and I really could sleep for like 10 years. And I just put on some Scott the Woz on YouTube, and now I'm watching some Nintendo GameCube Shaping a Generation by Scott the Woz, and I'll probably fall asleep to that. Maybe I'll jerk off to something. Who knows? Okie dokie. Well, thank you, Andrew, for joining me. I don't think there's anything you want to promote, but if there is,
nope.
Promote away.
Nope,
thank you to Kirk. Thank you to Kirk. Thank you to Mike. Thank you to Tim Ridgels. Thank you to McFuss Daddy. Big star. I mean, kind of glossed over him during this, but he's. I could see a live show in Georgia. Kirk said I could see a live show in Georgia within the next year. I really could.
I hope so. There's another Minute fan in my apartment complex, so him and I talked about it, and we even after McFuss Daddy's thing, him and I looked at each other. Goes, we got to get to Georgia to try some pizza, and hopefully it's for the show. So
yeah, that seems to be like a thing, where it's something I would go do. I'd be like, oh, I got to go try this pizza, and I try it, it'd be good pizza, and then I get down there, I go, did I just go to Atlanta to try pizza? That a New York style pizza, but Atlanta has a bunch of strip clubs and fun things. So we'll see with that. Okay, doke. Well, thank you, Andrew. Like I said, thank you to Kirk. Thank you to Mike. Thank you to Tim Ridgels. Thank you to McFuss Daddy. And we will talk to you later or next week on the KMS wrap-up show. Bye.